Okay, so the seam that we're going to work on now is the seam that joins the lining to the facing. So it's best if you start from center back and go down to the front and then come back to center back and go the other way. It makes it easier than trying to go all the way around. So you're going to, where your pleat is, you're going to line that up with the center back notch on your facing. And this is a seam. You're going to join the lining around. And then when you come down on the front, you're going to stop about 6 inches below the bottom and you're going to back stitch. So before you put the lining in, you are going to make sure that you are already tacked here and then both seams on your sleeve. Okay, so starting at the center back, this is my pleat on the lining, so I'm going to put a pin here, and then I'm going to pin this all face to face, matching the notches. That's the back facing and the lining. And then you want to make sure that the shoulder seams are exactly on top of each other and they're pressed open flat. And we're going to continue around face to face, and then you're going to stop sewing about 6 or 8 inches up, and make sure you back stitch right here. Okay, from the center back facing where the pleat is, my lining is joined all the way down here. And then at my facing, you're going to stop sewing the lining, okay? Everything is turned face to face. You're going to put your arm in the sleeve. And you're going to put the lining in the sleeve as if you were wearing the jacket. Okay, so the lining is inside the sleeve and my sleeve hem has already been pressed and tacked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the lining, and the seam allowance here is going to be 1/2 inch. So I'm going to just fold this back, and then I'm going to pin it right here on top of the seam just to hold it. Okay, so we're going to go through the bottom of the jacket, and we're going to pull the sleeves so that they come out down here at the bottom, like this. Okay, and my pin is what's holding this in place. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pin out because all I wanted to do was make sure that the seams were lined up. And what's going to happen is we're going to line up the raw edges like this. So let's take the pin out. My seams are on top of each other. I'm face to face, and I'm going to pin around the sleeve, joining the raw edges at the hem, and that is going to be stitched at 1/2 inch seam allowance. So see that? Just go around like that. Okay, so now we're going to go to the bottom hem. You're going to turn the jacket so that the two hems are face to face. And we're going to start in this corner. This is the corner that you clipped. So you're going to bring your lining over, and we are going to attach the two bottom edges of the jacket at 1/2 inch, lining up the side seams, making sure you guys pin before you start sewing. All right, so you're going to go across the hem, and at the center back, you're going to leave about a 4-inch gap. Okay, so I started on this side, and we're going to come across at 1/2 inch, and then at the center back, you're going to skip over. You're going to leave a gap, and then you're going to continue sewing. Okay, so now everything is closed except for here where your facing joins the lining at the front and the center back hole. So you're going to go through the center back, and then what you're going to do is you're going to pull the bottom part of the facing through that corner. Okay, so once you've turned this so that you have exposed the front facing and the lining and it's flat, this is the corner where we made that diagonal clip, and this is where we stop joining the facing to the lining. So what happens here is at that clip, you're going to put your finger here, and then you're going to just pull this. So after you pull it and they're laying flat like this seam right here is going to be pressed up. So what's going to happen is when we sew, we're going to be sewing from this clip corner, and then you're just going to sew up to where you stop sewing here and backstitch. Okay, so after that corner is done, we're going to go back up here, and we're going to take the sleeve and we're going to turn it inside out, and what we're looking for is the opening in the lining, because we're going to go through this opening to close the bottom of the jacket. Okay, so through the sleeve opening, I'm going to go through my sleeve, and I'm looking to grab this. So this is the bottom opening of my jacket, and I'm going to pull the bottom opening of my jacket through my sleeve like this. And then I am going to close this. Okay, I'm just going to join that at 1/2 inch, and then once that's joined, we're going to put that back, and then here on the sleeve, you're just going to do a very nice tight little hand stitch, and believe it or not, that is the last step. You're going to turn everything inside out to the right side, and then you have a jacket. When I'm stitching, my thread is single, and remember, you just want to be very small with the stitches. You want them to be very tight and very little, and you're just going to keep whipping around, and that is the last step.